तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। श्री चैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। कूजन्तं राम रामेति मधुरं मधुराक्षरम् आरुह्य कविता शाखां वन्दे वाल्मीकिकोकिलम्। मनोजवं मारुततुल्यवेगं जितेन्द्रियं बुद्धिमतां वरिष्ठं वातात्मजं वानरयूथमुख्यं श्रीरामदूतं शिरसा नमामि। आपदामपहर्तारं दातारं सर्वसम्पदां लोकाभिरामं श्रीरामं भूयो भूयो नमाम्यहम्। दक्षिणे लक्ष्मणो यस्य वामे च जनकात्मजा पुरतो मारुतिर्यस्य तं वन्दे रघुनन्दनम्। Hare Krishna. So we are continuing from Ayodhya Kanda, chapter 87 onwards. And in chapter 86, near the end of 86, Guha is describing the austerity that Ramachandra and Sita Devi took upon themselves by lying down on the ground, simply covered with kusha grass. And they seemed to be at peace, but Lakshmana was was uneasy, and Lakshmana's uneasiness was out of his extreme love and service to Ramachandra, that the personality who in the entire creation is worthy of the greatest luxury is now lying down on the bare floor without any blankets or nothing royal or great to his or at his service, and out in the forest wearing tree bark and completely out or exposed to the elements, if you will. And Guha, as he's narrating this to Bharata, Bharata is visualizing what that scenery or what that scene looks like, and is very painful. And Bharata, we read how this heavy mountain was crushing his heart, mountain of sadness was crushing his heart, a beautiful set of verses, and he falls unconscious. So he falls unconscious multiple times in this. So this chapter begins with Guhasya Vachanam Shrutva. So we know, most of us might understand this. Guhasya Vachanam Shrutva. Having heard Guha's words, Bharato Bhrusham Apriyam. The Bhrusham means intensity, very intense. Apriyam is very displeasing or not pleasant. So Guha's words were very displeasing. So Gruhasya Bhrusham Apriyam Vachanam Shrutva, having heard this, Bharataha Dhyanam Jagama. He went into this state of Dhyanam, went into this place where his mind became very absorbed. So Jagama means he began to go. Dhyanam Jagama Tatra Eva, certainly, Yatra Tat Shrutam Apriyam. And his mind went immediately to that person about whom these displeasing or unpleasant words were being spoken of. That is Sri Ramachandra, the object of his meditation. And this is the quality or nature of a devotee of the Lord, that whatever is the circumstance and whatever is the configuration of the situation in front of him or her, the mind naturally is drawn towards the object of his or her meditation, that is the Supreme Lord. And this obviously Bharata is in a spontaneous platform of bhakti. So he doesn't have to tell himself, oh, now I should remember Ramachandra. He just says, Dhyanam Jagama Tatra. His mind was immediately into the state of dhyana. And the next set of verses describe a sort of paradox or contradiction. The paradox is, here is Bharata, whose physical stature and physical structure both are such that he's the king of Ayodhya, the emperor. His shoulders are very broad, that like of a lion's, very strong armed, like very imposing posture. Yet he's so delicate inside when it comes to Ramachandra. So very strong exterior and very soft interior. Some people are quite the opposite. Very strong interior, hardcore, and seemingly soft outside. And some are hard outside and hard inside. So here, although he is so strong, his heart is so delicate, so soft. He says that his eyes that were open like big, large lotus petals just kept sighing, and in that extreme anguish fell unconscious, like you might see an elephant that is so huge and powerful falling to the ground when it is goaded by its rod. And when they saw Bharata fall unconscious like that, Guha, and the phrase is that Guha began shaking like a tree would shake during an earthquake. Bhukampo yatha drumaha. Bhukampa. Kampana means to shake. We sing in the mornings. Romancha kampa. Ashru taranga bhajo. So Romancha is the hair standing on end, and Kampa means shivering or shaking. So Bhukampa is when the earth shivers or shakes, called earthquake. Bhukampo yata drumaha, how a tree sways and shakes or shakes during an earthquake. These are all very the comparison of a druma, the tree, is because they're very strong, steady, very grounded, literally and figuratively grounded personalities. And trees don't so easily fall because of the roots. Such personalities can only, a huge tree will fall only when Lord Krishna with a small rope will tug them, or when there is an earthquake. Only during an earthquake, something so massive will shake a tree. Similarly, looking at Bharata is such an intense emotional experience for Guha that Bharata's ecstasy awakens Guha's ecstasy as well. Or shouldn't say awaken, triggers Guha's ecstasy as well. And seeing Bharata and Guha, Shatrughna, who's standing there, immediately took Bharata in his arms because Bharata is just falling on the ground. And Shatrughna started crying loudly. These are great Kshatriya men. They don't cry so easily. Yet they cry so easily when it comes to Lord Ramachandra. that whatever is their service as Kshatriyas, the mighty warriors, Ramachandra can tug anyone's heart in such a way that even these people, Guha, Bharata, Shatrughna, Dasharatha, very easily swoon and fall into this state of ecstasy, of grief, particularly the ecstasies of grief here. Now, seeing Shatrughna holding Bharata, who's falling unconscious or who fell unconscious, all the queens who had been fasting, so they became very weak. Upavasa Krusha Dina. Upavasa Krusha means because of the state of fasting, Dina, they became very weak or emaciated. And they started crying inconsolably and started running towards Bharata. So you can see how it's like a chain reaction. Simple ecstasy, I shouldn't say simple ecstasy, ecstasy of Bharata has triggered these symptoms in everyone. And all of them were sobbing and they're surrounded Bharata. Kausalya ran quickly and held Bharata on her lap and embraced him. And she herself was in extreme grief. Her grief is mixed that on the one hand, her husband has passed away, her dearmost son Ramachandra has gone away to the forest, and the one that is there, Bharata, whom she loves very much, he is now fallen unconscious. So she asked him, I hope you're not sick. And please understand that the entire royal lineage, the entire royalty here is dependent on you. Ramachandra and Lakshmana have gone to the forest. Dasarath Maharaj is dead. Now you're my only shelter. If I have to survive, then you're the only protector. And because they were all afar, Kausalya is asking Bharata, I hope you've not heard anything unpleasant about Ramachandra or Lakshmana. Especially because Ramachandra has gone to the forest with his wife. Then Bharata, such a great personalities, he is called Mahayasha, slowly came back to external consciousness. You're still crying. He spoke to Guha. Guha, please tell me where Ramachandra and Sita Devi and Lakshmana stopped for the night. On what sofa or couch did they sit? What did they eat? And where did they lie down? Now, one may ask, why are these things important? And the answer is simple. If we love someone, especially of the stature like the Supreme Lord or the Supreme Lord's very intimate servant, then every little action of theirs or every little gesture of theirs is very significant for us. For example, many of us have visited Radha Damodar temple in Vrindavan. And in that temple on the side are Srila Prabhupada's quarters, where you get to see very tiny, really without anything there, small kitchen, and across from the hallway, 10 steps across is Prabhupada's living quarters. Small rooms. But for us, it is very meaningful when we look at a picture that's hanging on the wall there and we see how Prabhupada used to sit at a particular place. And they say, oh, Srila Prabhupada sat here. Then we go into his kitchen and there's a famous picture of Prabhupada sitting in the kitchen looking out of the window, out through the window, looking at Rupa Goswami's Samadhi. And we say, Prabhupada sat here. And we touch that ground and touch it to our head. Then we go out and say, Rupa Goswami used to sit here. Then we went there and say, in Ter Kadamba, he sat here and wrote Nectar of Devotion, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. And there are many, many, many stories of Srila Prabhupada where his disciples will tell us, you know, Prabhupada sat here, he would walk through these doors, this is a small piece of his garment, etc., etc. So these are all called, I don't want to get into a nectar of devotion class, but they're called Uddipanas. Uddipana means stimulation for ecstatic love. So he wants to see, he wants to get every detail because the devil is also in the detail and love is also in the details, except that love and devil are not the same. As they say in English, the devil is in the details. Similarly, love is also in the details. So then Guha, who was asked this question, as he's remembering Ramachandra, Lakshmana, and Sita, goes into ecstasy. Uh, and to his very dear guest, Bharata, uh, he starts describing. He says, Annam Uccha Avachanam Bhaksha. He says, Phalani Vividhani cha Ramaya Abhyavahara Artham Bahucha Upahritam Maya. I offered Ramachandra various kinds of foodstuffs, fruits, roots, berries, rice, dal, the whole feast uh, for him. And he says Ramachandra was a very, very great person, Satya Parakramaha. He did not even touch any of it. He refused to eat. And he said, reminding himself of a warrior's stature. So he says, Nahi tat pratigruhyatam. Pratigruhyatam means he did not accept it. Why? Kshatra dharmam anusmaran. He remembered that he comes from the Kshatriya position, and he cannot accept from Guha. So he asked Lakshmana. So remember, while there is friendship, Ramachandra said to Guha, Atma Samasakha, you're as a friend as dear as my own life. Yet Ramachandra is a very, very strict about, I guess, protocol. As a Kshatriya and as a very ideal human being. He did not accept from Guha because accepting food from Guha would not be appropriate for him or for Guha. So he said uh, he did not accept it. Now one may say then Guha might have felt sad. Oh, why you didn't eat what I offered? Sometimes we have said, Prabhuji, you didn't eat what I offered. What is going on? But Guha was not offended. He understood. They all followed etiquette properly. So he said, we were very pacified. Okay, by Ramachandra telling us that, oh my dear friend, actually, we are supposed to be givers, not takers. As Kshatriyas, I cannot take. I should only give. So he says, na hi asmabhi pratigruhyatam sakhe, my dear friend, I cannot accept from you. Deyam tu sarvada. We are meant to be givers. And he says, iti tena vayam rajan anunita mahatmanaha. When he said that, I was completely satisfied. Then Ramachandra told Lakshmana, Lakshmana, please bring some Ganges water for Sita and me. And so the fasting that they were observing, Lakshmana went and brought water. And they were in Mauna Vrata. They didn't talk too much. Tattu jala seshena Lakshmane. Seshena, whatever was remaining, Lakshmana drank. So that's Mahaprasad. Apya akarot tada Vagyatra te tatram sandhyam upasata samahita. They very quietly just sat in silence and did their evening Gayatris and Sandhya Vandanam. Then Lakshmana, hey, you want me to speed up or you're okay with this whole detailing? I'll tell you why I'm detailing it. My request to you is while I'm narrating this, I would like you to close your eyes and go through the whole scenario. It's a meditation. It's a meditation of seva. Many of us have deities, and each day we wake our deities up. Actually, we are waking up, but anyway, we wake them up. We offer them bhoga, aratik, abhishek, and then evenings we prepare their bed, at least mentally, some of us. But the idea is to invite them to rest for the night. So we are doing the similar things that Lakshmana is doing for Ramachandra and Sita Devi. So I'm narrating it because it is his Lakshmana's seva, the deity worship, if you will. Although the deities are right alive and interacting with him, every deity is alive anyway. And Guha is narrating Lakshmana's seva, which is why it is very nourishing. And Bharata is intently listening to it. So I would like, if you don't mind, I would like you to visualize Lakshmana doing this service to Ramachandra and Sita Devi. However, our mind allows us to visualize. It may not be exactly how it happened, but that's my limitation in relating it. Okay, so that's why I'm going verse by verse a little slowly. I could have just said he said this and finished the chapter. So if you don't want it that way, text me and we'll move it forward faster. So then Lakshmana went ahead and brought kusha grass and laid out a layer of kusha grass, making it a fit resting place for Ramachandra and Sita Devi. Then Sri Ramachandra and Sita Devi lay down on that kusha bed after washing their feet. That's the proper way, washing their feet. Then Lakshmana went and stood at a distance because, one should not be there when the deities are resting. Ramachandra and Sita Devi, especially Sita Devi, is lying down on the ground. So one should not see another woman lying down. Generally, it's not proper. So Lakshmana, following etiquette, went and stood at a distance. Then there is a particular tree. They slept under a particular tree. It's called Ingudi. I didn't get a chance to find out what tree that is, but there's a very nice tree. Guha is narrating that Ramachandra and Sita Devi, they lay down here. Then Lakshmana, what did Lakshmana do? Who himself is Parantapa, who can make his enemy shiver or put his enemy in distress, wore a glove of leather glove, or equipped himself with two quivers full of arrows on either side of his back, got hold of his mighty bow, and remained in position, circumambulating Ramachandra and Sita Devi from a distance. Why? Because Lakshmana is guarding that their sleep should not be disturbed, nor should they be attacked by anyone. So, being vigilant, then Guha says, I myself carried some nice bow and arrows, and with my followers, I remained near Lakshmana. As Lakshmana was moving around, circumambulating, guarding Ramachandra and Sita Devi. I with my followers was moving along with Lakshmana. When Bharata heard this, he went to that tree where he knew that Ramachandra had slept for that night, and he tells his mothers Kausalya, Sumitra, and Kaikeyi, it is here that this mighty hero Sri Ramachandra lay down for the night, and I can see that his body was pressing against the ground. You know, this Ramachandra, who's the eldest son of Dasharath Maharaj, does not deserve to sleep on this bare earth. How is it possible that Ramachandra, he says, tiger among men, who used to sleep on a bed that was made of gold, studded with diamonds and rubies and emeralds, and the mattress was made with the finest silk and stuffed with swan or duck feathers so that it is very soft. Okay, and everything else was covered with wonderful skin of antelopes. Such a person is sleeping on the bare floor. I cannot I cannot imagine this. He's the person who would live in a palace that had the most exquisite carpets, the best chariots made of gold, perfumes everywhere, music, lived in complete luxury and royalty. And there he had bards singing for him throughout the day. Such a person is now lying on the floor. He says, I cannot believe that such a thing has happened. My mind is completely bewildered. I just hope it's a dream and not reality. And who is this Ramachandra? He's more powerful than time himself. And that great personality is sleeping on the ground. Even Sita Devi, who herself grew in the palace of Videha Raja, who's so rich, so powerful, such a delicate angel-like person, having to sleep on the floor. Now, both these personalities, Sita Devi and Ramachandra, the word we've used is Sukumara, is very gentle. Actually, it is said that the lotus feet or the soles of the Lord's feet are so delicate that even his consort, Sita Devi or Lakshmi Devi, is hesitant to massage or even touch, because simply by her touch, it is said that the sole of his foot can become bruised. So delicate. Such a person is lying on the bare floor, and such a personality like Sita Devi also. And he says, this is where I can see when they're lying down the impression of their body here. And I know that Sita Devi has laid down here because there are some particles of gold from her clothing. So he says, I can see that the upper garment of Sita Devi got entangled in this rough blades of kusha grass. So I can see some silk thread here. And he says, I cannot imagine how much suffering it would be physically for them to lie on the ground like this. He says, I'm such a cruel man that somehow, because of my mother wanting me to be the king, I have now become like an orphan instead. And he says, Lakshmana, such a great personality, he has accompanied his brother and gone away, and I am bereft of their association. And I cannot wrap my mind around the reality that they're actually in the forest. He says, from today onwards, I too shall sleep only on the ground or with some grass on the floor. I will also mat my hair, and I will also wear robes made of tree bark, and I will also only live on fruits and roots, because my master Sri Ramachandra and my mother Sita Devi, they are living like that. So he says, Adya, from right now or today, Prabhuti bhumau tu shaishye. Shaishye means I will lie down. Aham truneshuva. Either I will lie down on the bare floor or on grass. Phalamulashano nityam jata charinam dharayan. Jata, I will mat my hair. I will not put fragrant oils and comb it and do all the wonderful things to my hair. It will be matted, it will be ignored and tied into a mat. And I will wear deer skin. And not just for a few days. Tasya artham mutaram kalam. I will do this for the rest of the 14 years that Ramachandra will be in the forest. And I will not be sad or sorry that I am also going through austerities. Sukham vane. I will live in the forest happily, cheerfully. And whatever promises that Ramachandra has made will not go wasted. I will fulfill them. And he says, Shatrughna will also be with me, residing in the forest on behalf of Ramachandra. And from the forest, whatever, I will live in the forest, and Ramachandra will live in Ayodhya and protect the entire kingdom. And he says, Ramachandra will become the king, and may all the gods grant my desire. And may it become a reality. And for some reason, if Ramachandra will not accept whatever appeal I am making, then I will also follow the footsteps of Ramachandra. As he roams in the forest, I will also live in the forest. And I hope that he will not refuse my proposal. Then Bharata spent the whole night on the banks of the Ganges, just in such meditation and his contemplation on meeting Ramachandra. Then at sunrise, as soon as the sun rose, Bharata said to Shatrughna, Shatrughna, wake up. No need to sleep any longer. Bring Guha here quickly. And let him order his people for us to cross the river. And Shatrughna said to Bharata, I am not sleeping. Thinking of Ramachandra, I have been awake all night myself. He says, Jagarmi na aham swapimi. I am not sleeping. Tatheva Aryam Vichintayan. I spent the entire night thinking and meditating on Ramachandra. Itya evam abravit bhrata Shatrugno api prachoditaha. This is what Shatrughna said to his brother Bharata. So as these two were talking to each other, Guha came in with folded hands and said to Bharata, Oh Bharata, did you rest well? I hope everything is okay with your army. And having heard the words of Guha, Bharata replied, everything was okay for the night. We really appreciate your hospitality. Now let your fishermen ferry us across the river. Guha then very quickly said, yes, everybody please get started. Let us carry Bharata, Shatrughna, his mothers and the entire army across the river. So some excellent boats were marked, and each boat had these large bells. There were swastika symbols all along the body of the boat, and with appropriate sails and flags. Gruha brought this beautiful boat for Bharata and said to him, please. Then Vasishta, all the royal priests, they all got on the boats before Bharata, Shatrughna. And then Kausalya, Sumitra, then all the royal women got on the boat. Then the all the other smaller kings, their bullock carts, their provisions, their groceries, everything was loaded on different boats. And then the fishermen blew their little horns, and then they all started crossing the river. And so there's description of how the different boats were filled with different uh, goods. Some women were on exclusive boats, some men were on exclusive boats. Elephants, horses, chariots, they were all ferried across. That's there. If you go to Michigan or go to some other places, if you have to cross the channel, there is a huge ferry, and you drive your car onto the ferry boat, and then you park your car, and then the boat will take you across, and then you drive the rest of the way. Then they reached this beautiful woods, and the place is called Prayaga. So in the Himalayas, there's a place called Deva Prayaga, where the Bhagirathi and Alakananda meet. Then Bharata, the entire army was resting there, and Bharata sent his ministers and counselors ahead to go and meet Bharadwaja Rishi and seek his permission that Bharata would like to meet him. And slowly Bharata has come towards Bharadwaj Muni's ashram, and that is where chapter 89 ends. And I want to see if you have any questions or comments.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
This is Kirti here.
Yes, Kirti, I recognize your voice.
You said Lord Ramachandra did not accept the offerings by Guha.
Right.
Because it was not appropriate according to the social order.
Right.
But then you also said it is not good for Guha also if Lord Rama accepts it.
Right.
That was little confusing to me because we all know that whatever we offer to Supreme Lord, it's cleansing for us and we'll be purified. How can it not be good for Guha? And whether to accept or not, of course, that is Supreme Lord's prerogative. And the second thing, Lord Ramachandra, later on when he met Shabari, he accepted her berries, the forest berries. My understanding is she was not born of a high family or a high birth as well. Can you please help me understand?
Yeah. Ramachandra makes friends with everyone. Yet, he did not accept Guha's offering straight up. He sent Lakshmana to bring water from the Ganges. Then he met Bharadwaja Rishi, and whatever Bharadwaja Rishi offered, he ate, because Brahmanas, when they offer, the Lord cannot say no. And Shabari, although not born in a high family, she's being trained by or was trained by a spiritual master. So the Lord has no hesitation in accepting. So think of it this way, very friendly, yet there is a method in which things have to be offered. With Shabari, she's under the guidance of her spiritual master, so Ramachandra did not hesitate. On his return, when Ramachandra meets Guha again, that's why he accepts from him. But first off, no.
Is there a reason, Prabhu? By then, did
Yeah,
Guha learn how to offer or some?
I don't know if he learned how to offer. Someone sent him a little text with the mantras to offer. It's not like that. When Ramchandra has just left Ayodhya, uh, the protocol is he's still a king or coming from a royal family, and he is supposed to give to Guha, not take from Guha. So he said he accepted his affection and love. There's no rejection of love, but he just did not accept the items. First off, it's some special protocol that I'm not fully aware of. But there is no hesitation in accepting from Bharadwaja or Shabari for that matter. So we are not Guhas, we are not Nishadas, although I can say that perhaps I'm like a tribal. But because of the grace of the spiritual master and disciplic succession, I, I hope and I assume that some offerings he accepts.
Thank you, Prabhu.
We also know that just because we rang a bell and said a mantra, it's not necessary that the Lord has to accept. Our appeal. However, our appeal is to our spiritual master and the disciplic succession, and their appeal is what he accepts. And therefore, we are benefited. That is our confidence. Our own appeal may not be worthy enough.
Thank you, Prabhu.
You're welcome.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Please accept my
Hare
request.
Krishna.
Prabhu, couple of questions. One,
Yeah.
it seems Bharat had an understanding that Rama is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and there were others that had this understanding, and then some didn't. Is that correct?
What, although it's not explicitly said that he has an understanding, because he himself is an Amsha of the Supreme Lord, or in another context, they say that the same Lord appeared in four aspects. However, what he is relating to is the emperor of Ayodhya lives very much like the gods in the sense of royal luxury that they have. So he's saying his lifestyle is befitting of the gods, the great personalities. That's the reference he's making.
And that contrasts with, like, Krishna's pastimes where, especially in Rajalila, most didn't have any understanding that he is the Supreme Lord.
Correct. Here too, they didn't know so much. Only later, uh, at the end of the war, when Dasharath Maharaj comes back from Indraloka, temporarily he's hanging out at Indraloka, tells Ramachandra, "You are the supreme personality, and I've come to understand that you became my son. I'm so thrilled and joyed at that opportunity." But until then, even if Vishwamitra said to Dasharath Maharaj, "Aham Vedmi Mahatmanaha," I know your son is the supreme personality, Dasharath couldn't understand it because his affection for his son superseded any other reality for him.
And the other question, Prabhu, so, when Bharat was speaking about wanting to lie down on the floor like Rama and wanting to mat his hair, it seems, his mood is, I don't want to enjoy luxuries that, my Lord is not enjoying.
Exactly.
I was thinking, I've been thinking a lot about empathy. And, my question is it really possible to have empathy for someone when we don't go through the same experiences that they're going through?
I think how I have understood empathy works is We may not be going through the same circumstances necessarily, but we understand what pain looks like or feels like. It may not be the same situation, but something similar, perhaps. For example, let's say the pain of insult, or the pain of shaming, or the pain of whatever, financial loss, or physically something, or a loss of a relative. We may not have the loss of a relative, but we may have been separated from a friend or separated from someone. So there is some sense of what that might feel like. That's it. But we are not living in someone else's body, so we have no idea what that pain or what that suffering might be. And for different people, depending on their own strength, either the suffering is intense or not so intense. Now, Bharata, for example, is crying piteously, falling unconscious. For Ramachandra and Sita Devi, they didn't even care about it. One day in the palace, next day on under a tree, lying down on kusha grass. If you know, kusha is not so soft grass. It has rough edges. But it didn't matter to them. They're very detached from it, Ramachandra and Sita Devi. But Bharata, who's thinking that they're meant to be living in royalty, what is going on? Why are they like that? So back to empathy, we may not feel the same pain, but we may have a sense of what that might feel like. That's it.
And even with that sense, it is possible to, truly connect with people.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure. Paradukha Dukhi is what Prabhupada said, and Bhaktivinoda Thakur gave that phrase. I may myself not be in a condition of distress, but when I see someone else's distress, it does something. I feel something. If I don't feel anything, then there's nothing for me to do or relieve the other person from it. So a Vaishnav is a person who has the sense of paradukha. Someone else's distress has some bearing on me. If I feel something for somebody. You see beggar on the street, someone who's physically handicapped or mentally going through something or whatever is it. I feel something and I want to offer some service in some way. That is the awakening of some empathy or compassion, as we say.
Thank you very much for that.
Hare Krishna, bro.
Hare Krishna.
When you were saying that Shatrughna said to Bharata that I was not sleeping, you read the verse and then the verse said Shatrughna prachodayat. And I was thinking about this word prachodayat. What does it exactly mean in that verse? Is it different from what it means in the Gayatri that we chant? In the Gayatri, it says enthuses. I don't know what it means here.
Okay, it's the word is not prachodayat.
Oh.
The word is prachodita.
Okay.
Udita means to speak. And prachodita means having spoken, or he spoke eloquently or clearly or specifically.
Okay. Thank you.
So prachodita, another way, because we also use the word prachodayat. Prachodita also means, I'm sorry, he says abravit here and prachodita. Prachodita means to be urged by. Bharata was urging Kshatrugna to wake up. So enthusing means to urge or to impel, to push, to inspire. So you're right. Actually, your connection is correct. I am appreciating it. So prachodayat is just the verb is conjugated differently. Prachoditah means he was urged by or inspired by or prodded by. You're right.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Oh,
um, it's maybe a silly question, but I was under the impression
okay,
that
then we'll give you a silly answer for it. How about that?
I was under the impression that Mother Sita and Lord Rama, they wore tree barks uh, when they left Ayodhya or the palace. But here it says that um, Bharata was able to find silk strands in the kusha grass.
So if you go back to when we were discussing the departure of Ramachandra and Sita Devi from the forest, Sita Devi did not know how to put on tree bark. She tried. Ramachandra also tried to put it on her, and she just couldn't do it. So Dasaratha cries, Vasishta intervenes, and Dasarat Maharaj says, no, the terms of agreement were that Ramachandra will wear tree bark. I cannot accept that Sita Devi will wear it. So he called his royal servants and told them, please pack silk garments and jewelry that is fit for a queen for 14 years worth. That was the luggage Lakshmana is carrying every day. Okay. She was not wearing tree bark.
Sure, bro. Thank you.
She was wearing Kanjivaram Pattu sari.
It it appears like Bharata already kind of had a premonition that Lord Ramachandra may not be coming back uh, to Ayodhya. When he's speaking to Guha, the way he talks, um, starts to speak that I will stay in forest, I will go through austerities, I will not do this. Um, Whereas he is going on a journey to invite Rama and bring him back. So if Rama comes back, there is no necessity for him to even stay in the forest. But somehow he uh, looks like it. Uh, he is preparing for the worst, so to speak.
Think of it from different angles. One is love has very conflicting emotions, and he knows on the one hand that Ramachandra is the person who will never violate his word. Once he said, I'll go to the forest, nobody, you can move mountains but cannot move Ramachandra from his position. Yet he is counting on the strength of his love that I will be able to convince Ramachandra. Both are there. And then he considers, even if Ramachandra ideally should be in the palace. And my way of uh, repairing the situation, or my way of prayashchitta, that my mother even thought of asking something like this, is that I will live in the forest instead. And then he also knows if Ramachandra very likely will not agree, because he will not budge from his word, because he knows Kausalya must have tried, Sumitra must have tried, all the other queens must have tried, Vasishta tried, the ministers have tried, the great sages have tried. Yet Ramachandra has gone to the forest. So when all these great persons could not convince him, what can I do? I will still try, and very likely he will not be convinced. So I myself will also live in the forest, because that's what is I cannot live in the luxury. I cannot live in luxury when he's living in complete renounced state. So we went to this place called Nandigram, and in Nandigram, actually, it says that Bharata was living in even more austere conditions. Although here he says, "I will eat fruits and roots," the storyline there was narrated that he ate barley cooked in cow urine for 14 years and lived in a cave underground, because his idea was, if Ramachandra is sleeping on the ground, how can I sleep at the same level as Ramachandra? So I have to be at a lower level. So he slept in a cave underground. That is his degree of austerity. So these are all these conflicting and different things that are going on in his heart. So it's not so much of a premonition. He understands who Ramachandra is, yet he's trying to see if he can convince him and bring him back. And the way of convincing is he takes the entire army, the queens, everyone, Vasishta, the sages, they're all coming to somehow try and convince Ramchandra one more time. Okay, Kirti?
Thank you, Prabhu.
You're welcome. All right. If nothing else, we'll pause here. Any final burning questions?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Dandavat pranams.
Danda.
Prabhu, I have one. Yeah. I have one question, Prabhu. Like when we read Valmiki Ramayana, so Bharat seems to be very, very heroic. So it really melts the heart. So, but so we see Lakshman and Hanuman so much and worshipped also all over the temples. But Bharat is not worshipped so much. Probably Ram would have appreciated his, the consciousness or his bhakti. But how do we understand that? When we read Ramayana, Bharat seems supreme in bhakti. Well, I'm not saying he's the only most supreme person, but still, we don't see Bharat worshipped anywhere in the temples.
I have seen. Bharata is never worshipped separate from Ramachandra. There is no Lakshmana temple by himself. They're always, and their happiness is to be worshipped with Ramachandra. So there are many temples. Primarily, we see Ramachandra, Lakshmana, and Sita Devi and Hanuman. Because Ramayana mostly narrates their story. But I've been to temples where Ramachandra is there, Sita Devi is there, Bharata Shatrughna are there, Lakshmana is also there, and Hanuman is there. And I'll tell you of a particular temple. I don't know if I should give you the detail. Anyway, I'll say it. In a place called Kumbakonam, there is a temple called Ramaswamy Temple. The deities of Ramachandra, Sita Devi, they're all very large. In fact, the picture is this. It's called the Ram Darbar, where Ramachandra and Sita Devi are seated. And if you come for darshan, the seated Ramachandra and Sita Devi who are sitting down are almost 8 feet high. And on one side is Lakshmana with standing there, Bharata with Chamara, Shatrughna with an umbrella, and ahead of them is Hanuman sitting with a veena and singing either the Ramayana or the Mahamantra, or the glories of the Lord and Sita Devi. And that is the entire altar there. Is one of the most fascinating temples I've ever been to. So Bharata is it. If you go to Nandigram, there's like we have Gaur Nitai, some date in Gaudiya Vaishnavism, there is Gaur Nitai and sometimes Gaur Gadadhar. Similarly, in Nandigram, there is Ram and Bharat Milap. So that place is commemorating a temple of Ramachandra and Bharata.
Thank you, bro.
You're welcome. Okay, we'll stop here. Thank you very much. Please make note, next Saturday, no Ramayana class. And then we will meet on the Saturday after that, the 29th. 29th? 14, 17, 20, 28th. So next Saturday, no Ramayana. I will text it as well. But for others who are not here, we will not be meeting next week. Thank you. Hare Krishna. I wish all of you a very, very happy Diwali. If you get a chance, then let's all meditate on Sri Ramachandra, Lakshmana, and Sita returning to Ayodhya with all their retinue of followers, devotees who are happy to receive, happy to join along Ramachandra, and the residents of Ayodhya who are overjoyed that they lit lamps for the first time in 14 years to receive Ramachandra back of joy. Otherwise, Ayodhya was completely dark, both philosophically or spiritually and physically. Spiritually dark because although their hearts were illuminated by the memory of Ramachandra, they did not experience any happiness because it was like a body without a soul. And just as life comes back into a body for a person, or health comes back fully, similarly, Ramachandra's returning is light that dissipated the darkness of their sadness, bereft of Ramachandra's association for 14 years. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman Ji ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.